And welcome back again. Yours truly, waiting for everything to get on. Anthony Parker, Midnight at the Oasis. Welcome back. We've had some other shows in between the Midnight at the Oasis. We covered the Democratic Convention every night and every day. Our first show was 5 hours long, and throughout the convention, we averaged about 4 hours each show. We thank you for supporting us. Real quick, if you're on a computer, you're watching the show. So if you're on a computer watching the show, pick up your phone and here's the QR code. This QR code will take you automatically to my page where you can, of course, subscribe, subscribe. And we want to know if you see something here on the screen, it's a little bit different. Let me know if that works for you too. If you put your phone up to the computer screen and you get to the QR code, see if you can go to my site. So my site is Keeping It Honest. Yours truly, Anthony Parker. This is under the umbrella of that show, Midnight at the Oasis. What we do is we talk about news that ended and talk about news that's going to start for the next day. If you have any comments or questions, you can email yours truly as parkerman2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. Let me know what you think about these Midnight at the Oasis shows. We try to do them every night at the same time. So tell your friends, hit the like, hit the share, and especially hit the subscribe. We thank you guys for doing all this, helping us grow. Because if it wasn't for you guys, we would not be doing this. So I've got some cocoa, maybe get some tea or some coffee, some snacks a little bit. We have an interesting show coming up today. If you have any questions or comments, again, you can leave me a voice message, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. Parkerman, his email address, 2011 at gmail.com, parkerman2011 at gmail.com. So today we're going to be talking about some interesting topics. But first, let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for us making it through the day. We pray that you'll take care of us in our sleep. And we pray we'll have an even better day tomorrow. Amen. So whoever you believe, or whatever you believe in, inspirational, hopefully that gets you through. We're one of the few stations, few channels that we may not be all spiritual, but we're very moralistic with spiritual guidelines. And we talk about the news, entertainment, everything with Parker Twist. So you know Donald Trump is still going through his court charges, and we'll deal with that, but not tonight. We'll leave that for somebody else that's been doing it. We're going to give you some interesting news. We are going to play this ad that's dealing with abortion and banning abortion. And once you see this ad, we'll tell you about it. But it's something that's either happening or could be happening out here today. They may take this to the extreme, but I guess you're going to notice it. We're also going to give you this poll. And this poll was done by Savvy Sab. She has a streaming show, which I like. We're going to give you her poll. We are going to do, let me see if I can pronounce this lady's name the right way. Amala Ekpan-Obi. Amala Ekpan-Obi. She's a influential YouTube producer, and I've been watching her every now and then, and I like getting other sides of a story. So she's talking about kids loving who they are and kids being who they are. Very controversial topic. We're going to discuss it, but we're going to let her explain it. And this is from Michelle Obama's statements that she made. So we're going to talk about that too. Trying to see what else we have here. So, some interesting news. I'm not an Elon fan, Musk fan. I think he knows it all too much. He has kind of a weird voice. Who's to say, huh? And he's over X. I'm not going to say what it was formerly, but it's X. And if they keep saying it's formerly so and so, that's a bad branding because people keep saying it like that. Formerly. Just say X. So it's X. So he has a SpaceX launch coming up. And this is going to entail civilians. But you think about this, it's going to be a nail biting 5-day track into orbit with private astronauts. They're going to be traveling into Earth's radiation belts. That's interesting. So no human being has ever done this without going through the NASA program. So they're going to be traveling through Earth's radiation belt. And they're also preparing for a high risk spacewalk. And it's kind of scary. So, if successful, the spacewalk, which could take place Friday, will mark the first time that civilians have carried out such an endeavor. And how would you feel? How much would you pay to be on Elon's SpaceX launch? So it's going to take place in Florida between 3:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. on Wednesday. So we're going to try to do a live show there. But how much of a risk would you take if you're rich? Would you want to be the first one that's not totally a real astronaut with NASA to go on that space watch? Wow. I don't know. Some risks aren't to be taken. So former President Donald Trump, he's trying not to put doubt on his September 18th ABC debate against vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris. So Kamala wants to change the debate way. Instead of sitting, she wants to stand. And they want to keep an open mic instead of a closed mic. And if you remember, you know what happened at that last debate. Everybody was surprised that Trump was kind of quiet. Mike wasn't open. He did what he needed to do. So Kamala and her team is probably thinking, look, if he has an open mic, he might say something and I can say, shh, shh. Or he may interrupt me and I can say, like, please, I'm talking. Because if you have a closed mic, there's no interruptions. So she's thinking, and they're thinking he might catch Donald in like a faux pas mistake because it's the mic. And she wants to make sure she has notes where you couldn't have notes before. But my thing is, I haven't done debates, literally. So a political debate, can you have notes? And are you sitting or standing? And can you interrupt each other? Is that a debate or is talking, that person finished, and then another person talks? What exactly is debate? Let me know. And do you think she'll have a chance at this debate? And what do you think about RFK joining the Trump team? We're going to talk about that one too, but maybe not on this episode. We got a lot to go through on this episode. And it's a keeping it honest episode where people may have been uncomfortable talking about things, but we're going to put it out there. And speaking of putting it out there, I want to show you the poll that was taken off of Savvy Sab show. It's a great show. But let me see if I can find it now. All right, here we go. As I pull it up. Now, she did a poll on her show, and I like her show. She's very smart. She talks a lot of politics, but she analyzes stuff really good. So what would happen if Kamala loses this race? Or Kamala loses this way? What would be the main reason, you think? Because now it says her poll numbers are going down a little bit. So the questions are, or the topics were, if Miss Harris loses, what would be the main reason that she would lose? Would it be Gaza? Would it be Trump, RFK, and Tulsi coalition? Would it be the economy, inflation? Or she wasn't a strong candidate anyway? Which one of those choices? You think, if you had to pick one choice, which one is it that would make her lose? Gaza, Trump, RFK, and Tulsi getting together, the economy, inflation, and she wasn't a strong candidate. Let me know what you think. So, it's a sad story. Campus homicide. A student at Rice University in Houston was found dead in her dorm in an apparent murder suicide attempt, prompting a campus wide lockdown on the first day of school. The body of a junior female student was discovered by university police after a concerned family member wanted a welfare check or wellness check because she had missed a couple classes. The suspected shooter was also found dead in a room from a self inflicted gunshot wound. And some people said that, well, he also left a note, but they were in a troubled romantic relationship. And student, the school, is back to being open. But if you know of someone who you think needs help, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline or 988. 988. Wow, so our prayers go with the young lady because you never know what people are going through. So, keeping it honest. Yours truly, Anthony Parker, is presenting Midnight at the Oasis. So, the story coming up, which I thought was very, very interesting. There are things that I'm learning that I may not have opinions to say on it yet because I like backing it with facts. But I want you to look at this, and I know you're going to think after watching this. People talk about the abortion ban, and some say it should be a federal thing, some say it should be state by state. But if it's state by state, and that's the one thing I hate. I hate when people do things and they don't want to do it across the whole country. They want to do it state by state. For instance, when we had slavery lifted, it was a state by state thing until it was a national thing. But think about this. If you could pick anything and there was a ban in one state but wasn't in another state, how would you feel if you're caught in the middle of going from that one state to correct your own personal problem to going to another state? This may be a far fetched idea, but watch it, take hold, and we'll talk about it.
Driver's license, registration.
Here you go, sir. How's your day going?
That's your daughter?
Sure is.
Abigail, right?
So look at this now. He thinks he knows her. The dad is looking, but there's more.
How do you know her?
Were you about 8 weeks pregnant?
So how would he know if she's 8 weeks pregnant? How does he know that much about her?
See, you've been spotting recently. You've had any cramps or nausea?
That's personal.
So that is personal. She's on her way somewhere. He's asking about her and her personal life, her physical body.
You been taking your prenatal vitamins?
Excuse me?
Are you ticketing me for something?
Where are you heading, Abigail?
So this is where it gets interesting. So think about this also in the slavery days when people used to get stopped and either they had papers to be free, but maybe not in that state, and they're trying to get out of that state, and a cop stops them and then questions them.
To go see my older sister, Natalie.
Well, that's strange. This says here that Natalie's at a concert in Dallas. And your
And how does he know about that?
navigation is set to a women's health clinic in one of those abortion states.
So it looks like she's traveling across the state to get an abortion.
We have the right to travel.
Not anymore. Step out of the car.
Please, officer.
Both of you out now.
And this is how the rules get ridiculous, where you think, yeah, so far it's far-fetched, but it could also be true if it's not happening now.
You, sir, are under arrest for crossing state lines to obtain an abortion for a minor under your care. And you, young lady, well, you're under arrest for evading motherhood.
Wow. So what do you think about that? That's one of the new commercials that is being aired. Are you for or are you against what that commercial is about? I'm just keeping it real. Yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander. You have any questions or comments, you can email yours truly. It's parkerman2011 at gmail.com. Parkerman2011 at gmail.com. Leave me a message, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. So has it come to that point where you got to sneak around, whether you're for it or not, and get an abortion? And the one thing that was interesting, at the DMC, they had this mobile abortion clinic right outside the DMC, the Democratic Convention. And my thing was, I'm curious, how many people used it? That's what I'm curious about. I'm going to have to find that out too. So you have that commercial. Should it be a state-by-state thing, or should it be a federal thing as far as abortions? And is this something that may change how the election could turn out, if you're for or against that? So ice cave collapse. One American tourist is dead in Iceland following the collapse of an ice cave. So listen to this. A group of 23 tourists from several countries were exploring a cave when the incident occurred. More than 200 responders participated in the rescue operation, and a massive amount of ice had been broken down and moved almost by hand. Wow. So Iceland is trying to pretty much get people to come there to see their ice caves and explore the insides of glaciers. So this is another thing. How excited are you to go and do something that's totally possibly could be dangerous? Some people say it may not be dangerous. It just takes one time. Bungee jumping. I've always wanted to bungee jump, but I always felt like one, that line may be too long, or I'd be the one where it breaks. But it's always interests me. Maybe one day I'll try it. Maybe one day I won't. So let me know what your takes are on that clip. It's about to get a lot of watches too, a lot of views. People are going to start talking about that. But the right for your own body. And if you're trying to help somebody, are you going to be an accomplice too? Again, I use slavery. They get the person that was a slave. Maybe they're trying to go to another state where it was free back then. But then you could be that authority figure where you don't care. You're in my state right now, and I'm going to get you right now. So are there more people slipping and sliding their way to get an abortion? Or with these bans, has it slowed people? Something to think about. So now, this other story that I thought was interesting. I'm going to find it for you guys in a second. So I thank you for watching my shorts and my longs. And my shorts last from as short as 5 seconds to as long as 5.5 hours. So take a look. You like the shorts, you like some of the longs, and thank you too for also commenting. So real quick, I want to go to my phone and I want to read you some of the comments that people have given me. And because if it wasn't for you guys, we of course would not be doing this. So let me see. Here we go. I did a clip about Trump and calling people names. And so one of the comments was, he did not lie. All Trump is lie. He has no bottom and certainly no respect for anyone. And that was by Rhonda. This one's by Tony. Hey, Tony. Hey, Rhonda. Joe, wake up. Your own party turned on you. You can thank Obama and Clinton for that. It doesn't help that you can't stay awake or form a coherent sentence. Time to retire, Joe. Enjoy the beach while you can. Retirement is not bad. I'm enjoying it. Well, thank you. I hope you're enjoying my show and my shorts and my tape and my live shows too. You're looking at Midnight at the Oasis. So this story coming up, I really thought it was interesting because it dealt with, and that's Michelle Obama, her statement, and I like this, who they are, these are kids, and believing who they are. We've heard people make those statements. She's been pushing this now. Gender formation. What are your views on that? So we're going to play this from this young lady because I was impressed. She's very young. And her statements to some people, realistic. Some of it is uncomfortable to hear because she gives pretty much procedure of how a boy turns into a girl, girl turns into a man or boy. And she's a little bit graphic, but it was interesting getting her take on this. But she does a great streaming show. So now we're going to step into it with her.
Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love. Look, that doesn't make anybody's life better.
And I know we've heard that before. Now she's saying it, and a lot of people are talking about it.
Demonizing our children for being who they are and loving who they love. Look, that doesn't make anybody's life better.
Okay. Being who they are and loving who they love. I love the vagueness, right? Because they can go out and like make these very vague statements that sound super beautiful, but let's really break down what that means.
And she's really going to break down this, so pay attention, please.
Being who they are is, of course, in reference to gender ideology and transgenderism and gender dysphoria, often experienced by kids in today's day and age.
And how many kids in this day and age are going through this, and especially with their parents?
Exponentially rising rates, which is just insane. So by being who they are, she means kids either socially or medically transitioning. The big hot button issue is, of course, the medical transition, which the left supports and Republicans do not support. So what she means by be who they are is allowing little boys to undergo puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy, have their genitalia cut off of their bodies in service of this new identity, become lifelong medical patients for the rest of their life with a multitude of complications because these are experimental procedures. That's what she means by be who they are. For girls, she means undergoing puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy, double mastectomies, having a skin off your arm flayed off during surgery, made into a phallic shape so that you can have male genitalia or something resembling male genitalia, and having that attached to your privates.
So how many people know about that? Is she telling the truth? Is this a little bit graphic? Do you know people that are going through this as far as with their kids, and then you're going through this yourself? And if you are, how do you feel about it? Are you for it? Are you against it? Is it going to make you vote either way for the president of whoever of the United States?
That's what she means by allowing kids to be who they are. See, when we strip away this really nice language of kids know who they are and they know who they want to be, and we talk about what it really means, how it's really implemented, You see how the image changes. And I'm going to be really graphic here. For those of you who don't understand, I sort of explained how a girl undergoes that sex reassignment surgery. Let's explain how a boy gets that done.
So this is going to be very graphic, and if it being very graphic, prayerfully you'll understand this. But let me know if this has affected you guys, and if kids today are given more choices at a younger age than when we were kids. And if they are, why? Because how does a kid know who they are when they're like a baby, or I don't know, up until 8 years old? When's the time where a kid really knows, hey, this is who I am and this is what I want to be? You're watching Midnight at the Oasis with yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander.
He's going to have his genitalia cut off. He's then going to have a hole opened up in his private area. And if you're thinking, Amala, that's not naturally there. There's no female anatomy in there. How does one keep that open? They're given a dilator that they will go home with, and every single day have to put a dilator in this hole that has been opened up in their body to keep it open. Now, you can imagine a hole just randomly being placed in your body. There's probably a lot of different medical complications that happen with that. Yeah, some people have it closed up. Many have infections. The dilator is extremely painful. Of course, there's nothing natural that's happening for a woman happening down there. So you can imagine all the different medical complications that happen with that. So when she says allow children to be who they want to be, that's what Michelle Obama is talking about. Again, stripping away the language really changes what that means, and it changes how beautiful the sentiment actually is. Now, she says, for being who they are and for loving who they love.
So that you understand that part right there, she's very graphic in it. Does it make you think or rethink maybe a situation you might be in or somebody you know might be in?
How many of you knew your sexuality at like 4 years old? Any of you?
Yeah, so we're really going young, 4 years old. I don't know, you barely sometimes know your name and everything.
No, probably not. You probably maybe had a crush when you went to preschool and you thought, oh, Sally's really cute, or, oh, that kid, Chris, he's really cute. I think I have a crush on them. Do kids really know what that means? Do they know what their sexuality is? So why are we concerning ourselves with who children love and promoting this idea that children just love who they love and they are who they are? And that's why we should have these conversations about sexuality and sexual acts in their schools, which is what's happening. So when you see parents go to school board meetings and they're saying, I found pornography in my child's library book. And maybe they shouldn't be looking at images of two men in bed together, and they shouldn't be reading a description of what sexual acts look like between heterosexual or homosexual couples.
And I don't know, since I haven't been to school in a long time, is that what is out there as far as some books that they're teaching you this at an early age? Let me know.
That raises a red flag for me. And then the Michelle Obamas of the world will look at you and say, we shouldn't be demonizing our children. We want them to be who they are and to love who they love. It's a lot different when we strip away the language and talk about how these issues are actually being faced in our society. Talk about why we are actually discussing these things. It has nothing to do with not wanting a child to be who they are. In fact, it has everything to do with preserving what a child actually is, which is an innocent being who should not be having these conversations, who should not be confused in this way, who should not be concerning themselves with the ideas of gender or sexuality. It is, in fact, the preservation of what children are and the preservation of the love that children are supposed to experience, which is an innocent, non-sexualized love.
So what is the explanation too of being a child? Is there meanings that are different from when we were children, from my generation to the ones that followed it to now? Are we looking out for children in their minds even quicker now? They're so young, they're still developing. Do they really know who they are? But we're giving them choices. Do we give choices to kids that early for anything? I mean, if and a spiritual side, if you believe a man and a woman, that's it. spiritually, but yet you want to give your child freedom of their choices, then are you going to be open to a man, or a woman and a woman? How much of this spiritually breaks your mentality of life now? If everybody does something one way and then they do it the next way, should you change because they change?
So they will run on this platform for who knows how long. And these are going to be like the real sticking points. It's going to be about racism. It's going to be about LGBTQ issues. It's going to be about things like abortion. But the implementation of these things, when covered in all this beautiful language, is actually segregation and separating people based on race, telling poor, Black people that they have it harder than poor white people, telling people of color in general that they don't live life on easy street while white people do, segregating people in their schools, segregating them in programs, allowing certain people to be at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to jobs and affirmative action and college scholarships and all of these different things, and alienating others. So they'll say it's beautiful and we're doing things for race. Instead, they're implementing racism. They'll say, I'm pro-choice. I want women to be able to take care of their bodies. I want them to be able to do all these wonderful things and set a path for their life. What it really means is we offer free abortions and free vasectomies outside of the DNC.
And isn't she talking about things that may have happened 30, 40 years ago that people fought to get their rights equal? And in some people's eyes, it's going back to the same, and not just for minorities, but African Americans, but for a lot of minorities.
Which is a little too much in your face. I can totally understand wanting to be pro-choice, but is it something that we need to be shouting from the rooftops that we've just received an abortion outside of the DNC? Probably not. And they'll talk about children loving who they are and accepting themselves and loving who they want to love and being who they are. What it really means is gender transitions, and talk of sexuality with children who are too innocent to have those conversations.
So again, health classes. Is this something that you talk about? And with the books, is this something you put in the books? You're giving people choices to learn so much, which way to go. But how old, how young are you when you can have those choices? If you don't think, okay, knowing all this and being 4 years old, maybe wait until 8 years old. But the way things in society have changed, and we've accepted so many things because we don't want to offend, have we hurted society by letting so many things be accepted that we're kind of changing the world? In some people's eyes, making it better, some people's eyes, making it worse.
So don't be fooled by the language, and don't be fooled by Michelle Obama. I know she's so charismatic, and so is Barack Obama. And I see a lot of people saying, I miss the days of Barack Obama because he had so much character and he was truly presidential and he had so much tact and, he really knew how to speak to a crowd and how to represent this country. But look behind the scenes at the things they're actually supporting and what they're actually pushing forward, because I can guarantee you behind the charisma and the lovely face and the character is actually very bad policy. And Michelle Obama made that abundantly clear in her DNC speech. And those are my thoughts on that. After Michelle Obama's Barack Obama's presidency was like, Michelle Obama, she's cool. She's stylish. She did that whole get out and play thing with the kids and was like talking about fitness and just was really like a classy first lady. But then you hear her ideas and you go, oh, wait a second. Same shit, different day.
Okay. All right. So as a younger person, her views, and what do you think? Do you think she was right? I like to hear different opinions, so I put her on because I thought she had really something interesting to say. You may not like her. Her name is Amala Ekpanobi. Amala Ekpanobi. You may not like her, but at least expect what she said. We're just keeping it honest. Midnight at the Oasis. You can contact me 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. What do you think about that as far as the kids? Should kids today have so much freedom? I've worked with kids and I see some of them really, really have too much freedom. I'm telling you. And speaking of Oasis, here's a British rock band. I love this band's name, Oasis. So they announced they will kick off their Oasis reunion tour in 2025. Let me know if you've heard about this group, Oasis. Let me know what you think of our show, Oasis. I love numbers. My favorite number is 3. My ultimate favorite number is 23. So 23 is very important because that's how many Red Lobster restaurants are scheduled to close, unfortunately, within the year, as far as them being bankrupts. And earlier this summer, 100 had already closed. Have you ever gone to a Red Lobster? I've been there. I'm not a fish person. Have you been there? Let me know what you think. Speaking of thinking, words have meaning. And when you're an official, a politician, or somebody in the media, it can have real meanings. So a quote today: if a car pulls up to my house, I always look twice. So this senior official who works at Dominion, it's a voting technology company. They focus on baseless right-wing voter fraud claims in 2020. So this company, they were accused of padding the votes. So a lot of voters and just people were threatening them, threatening their lives. So a lot of people in this company um, were scared for their lives. So people, they say, continue to believe that the election was fixed, and they've been fearing for their lives, and they fear that if this next election happens, and maybe Trump doesn't win, maybe Harris doesn't win, that they're going to fear for their lives even more. And that's pretty scary when you have to fear for your life for what you believe in, and it's just a job. Wow. So election's going to be crazy. I'm trying to get some people on some of my shows. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and go to my Patreon page. That page is a page where you have 3 tiers, and it's kind of like a PBS, and you go there and you're like, okay, I want to contribute this much. You get 3 opportunities to contribute how much you want. And we thank you ahead of time for subscribing and going to that page. And you know, we do a lot of hard work. So when you go to that page, you help supporting us do what we do. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for our subscriptions, our subscribers. We're going to do so many interesting things and different things in a Parker twist. I'm still figuring this out, and that's probably why it's working for me. But I thank you guys for support. And this election is coming up. And so people who really don't know anything about the DMC, the Democratic National Convention, or Republican National Convention, which took place not too long ago, we're going to do something. I've dumbed everything down, but we're going to do something with somebody who you like, somebody who you hate, somebody who started off as a waitress, but they got into politics and their world started changing big time. Her name is AOC. And I want you to sit back and relax, and in a lighthearted way, I'm going to let you know, or she's going to let you know, how politics works. From Kamala to Biden to Trump, to how do these elections work. And the guy right there to the right is Stephen Colbert. So you know it's going to be an interesting segment. But it's a segment that talks about the election and electoral process. And it has AOC because I bash her a lot, but it has her in a fun light.
Nice to meet you. I'm Donnie.
Donnie, good to meet you.
What's your name?
Alexandria.
Alexandria. Oh, you're that three name guy.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, AOC.
AOC.
You know what? JB Pritzker. You ever met him?
I do know.
Guess what the J stands for?
What's that?
It stands for J.
J. J
J
stands
is
for
short for
J.
J. You know what the B stands for?
What's that?
Robert.
Robert.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
You're AOC, right?
I am AOC.
What's the A stand for A?
A stands for Alexandria.
And the O stands for Robert?
Ocasio.
Ocasio. Okay. And the C?
Cortez.
Cortez. Very nice. Can I call you Allie?
You can call me Alex.
Alex?
Or
Alex.
AOC.
Alex.
Or Alexandria.
Very nice. So are you in this party?
I am in this party.
This party. Yeah. So what kind of party is it? I don't see any flip cup tables.
It's
There's no cornhole.
it's
There's no hot tub.
Political party.
Political party. Okay.
It could use more cornhole.
Okay.
It could use more.
I don't vote. What's the idea with voting? I don't. I'm registered, but I don't actually vote. I go to the polling place every time. That's just getting the curtain. Pull the little curtain, get a little alone time, a little dining time. So what's the value of voting? Tell me.
My friend Kamala is coming up on one of the last major fundraising
Don't you hate
deadlines
that when
before
commercials
election day.
come on?
So when I say that your donation,
Hey,
If you vote,
Yeah.
you can vote for politicians, you can vote for elected officials that invest in the community,
Yeah.
that want to make sure that you want the votes to win, you want folks coming in here, you got to make sure that we've got the streets clean, we've got things going on, people have health care. That's what we're voting.
You guys look for swing voters? If you're looking for swing voters.
For swing voters.
For swing voters. My wife and I are swing voters.
I mean, if
On the
you
weekends,
swing,
up at the Sybaris.
if you swing from
Yeah.
not voting to voting, we'll take that too.
All right. Who are you hoping to see? How do you win this thing? How do you win the convention? Because I know how you win it here. Okay, you bring the rock to the rim. How do you guys win?
We win a convention by first having a bunch of primaries,
Okay.
and every single state votes.
And who won that?
And Joe Biden won that.
Won that. Okay, so Joe Biden's the nominee.
And Kamala Harris won that.
She also won that too.
so here it goes, where he explains it. Joe Biden won it and Kamala won it. Kamala. And how did they get to this part?
People won.
Two
You can't.
people won.
You gotta have a winner.
As president and vice president, we run as a ticket.
Oh, so it's like Michael and Scotty.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. So he scores, she rebounds. Is
Yep,
that the idea?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Precise.
Okay. So that's the team.
That's the team. And then everyone's nominating for. Everyone will be nominating for Kamala Harris. Votes for her. She won.
What happened to Joe? Where's Joe?
Joe said she's a champion.
So he hit the bench. He should hit the bench.
Yep.
Okay.
He
What,
said, I did first, second quarter. She's going to take it home in second quarter.
was there an injury or something like that? A groin tear?
I think it was just a call for the team. It was a call for the team.
All right. All right.
Is that she's going to bring it home and she's going to win in America. We're going to make sure.
So who are you looking forward to see play this week?
I'm looking forward.
Are you going in?
I mean, maybe.
Really?
We'll see.
Are you going to speak?
I'm not allowed to say.
It's just me. Nobody's paying any attention.
No, I'll be speaking.
These guys, these are my buddies. You know, say anything you want. Just say anything you want in front of them.
Yeah.
You'll be speaking. All right. That's I believe that's what we call in the vending business an exclusive.
Yeah, that might be. That might be to the hot dog.
So, what's the? Are there any odds that it's going to be Joe again? Because back when we were riding with Biden, I put a lot of money down on it being Joe, and I'm trying to cut my losses here. I'm in deep with some really bad guys.
Here's how you can sell it. Okay, it was Biden Harris that was running. Now it's Harris Walls, so you can at least get half that.
Okay.
That's what I think we should do. The
How
other
about this? We were riding with Biden to prepare us for Harris.
Riding with Biden to prepare us for Harris. I like that. That's pretty good. What do you think?
I like it. That was good. That's a good one. We're
Can I
gonna
set you up
work
with some
that.
merch? Can we get
Yeah,
some merch?
please. I would love some.
Go ahead, a little merch. There you go. What do we got? Okay.
If it's bull stuff though, I'm a New York Knickerbocker though, so that's the one thing we need to. I need to put my foot down.
Okay. Tell you what we got here.
Okay.
You got hot dogs?
We can do hot
I got
dogs.
hot dogs and T-shirts, which smell like hot dogs,
Great.
and hot dogs that smell like T-shirts.
We love that.
Okay. What do I got here? I got balls to the walls.
This is fire.
This is. I'm sorry, it's what?
This is fire.
It's fire.
Yes.
The Chicago Fire is a soccer. It's a soccer team. No, this is the Bulls.
This is great.
You like that?
I love
There
it.
you go.
I love it.
With that,
Mhm.
we got two Doug's, not drugs.
Two dogs, not good. That's a
I
good one.
like that
There
one.
you go. All right. We got Kamala is brat.
Rot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Throw those on the grill.
that's exactly
With
right.
some pepper onion.
I'm getting hungry watching it.
Okay. What? Huh? Very good. All right. Kill it. We also have pre-stained T-shirts.
Pre-stained with
Pre-stained.
mustard.
Pre-stained because when you buy a T-shirt, one of your big fears is, when am I going to get mustard on this?
Yeah.
These are pre-stained. You can just relax and enjoy your dog.
It's like wearing it with jeans with the holes and stuff. Like
That's
just
exactly right. This is a leftover I found up in one of the storage areas. This is from the 1968 convention.
Oh wow.
This is a Hubert Humphrey. This is Get Humped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about the vibes on that one,
No?
but we'll work it. We'll work with it.
All right. So what do we think? Balls to the walls.
I'm doing
Does-
balls to the wall.
Balls to the walls. We got a big seller. It's a hot item.
That's
There you go.
my number one right there.
But
Balls to the
we're
wall.
also selling electrolyte heavy hot dog water.
Oh, hot dog water. With
It's
the
got
like,
all the electrolytes of Gatorade, twice the meat.
you've got like a soubrette marinating in there for like 8 hours. I mean,
Just swim around it.
that's good. That's breakfast cheese.
All right, there you go. Alex, nice to meet you. So nice to meet you.
Will you eat a hot dog with him?
Pardon?
Will you eat a hot dog?
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
There you go.
I can't get mustard on this though.
Was there any mustard?
We're good.
No condiments allowed on the floor.
Literally. I didn't want it. All right.
Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
You know what's difficult? Eat a hot dog and chew gum at the same time. That's a real challenge.
That's like a 2 flavor situation.
I'm cool.
I feel very good.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go. Little lightheartedness. AOC takes a lot of heat. It was good to see her. I don't know if she knew that was Stephen Colbert. I probably think she did. So let me know what you thought. All right, let's go back. Let's get ready to end this to my question. Let me see if I can find it for you again. Of the poll. Here we go. All right. My questions were, if Kamala loses, what would be the main reason? Gaza, Trump, RFK, and Tulsi, the economy, or she wasn't a strong candidate. So if Kamala loses, what would be the main reason? 11% said Trump, RFK, and Tulsi. Didn't make that much of an impact then. 19%, which I was surprised, economy, inflation. I thought that was the biggest one. Third, Gaza at 28%. I probably would have put that one last. And the number one reason that she would be losing, boom, she wasn't a strong candidate, 42%. I'd like to thank Savvy Sabs. She has a great show. Check her out. That was one of her polls. And you have any questions, comments, you can give me a text, voicemail, 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. Email address is parkerman2011@gmail.com, parkerman2011@gmail.com. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, subscribe button. Let me see real quick if I can find, as I'm looking, another comment. A couple more comments. I thank you for your comments too. You guys are rocking it. So let me see. I'm trying to look for a good long one. I haven't read these, so I'm reading them now. Trump's history. And this is from a mess feather stone, I think. What about your bathroom server? What about your lies beyond Ghazi or about Benghazi? That's just the place. The 2024 DNC was all about bashing Trump. You all must be scared of what he will show America about your lies and theft. Also, the first person to become president with said bogus convictions. And here's an answer to that. This is by James. The only reason he has convictions is your corrupt party. You should have been locked up for all the things you've done. How many people has your husband and you had taken out to keep your dirty secrets under wraps? And that was about Hillary Clinton. Wow. What do you think? Also, what do you think about tonight's show? Did you like it? Was it controversial enough? Will it make you think? Hopefully it will until the next episode. So you can check out our shorts. You can check out, that always sounds funny when I say that. You can check out our long programs. We talk anything and everything. And you can hit our like and subscribe. And don't forget our live shows like this. You might see us again soon as we try to cover the SpaceX mission. And I think it's interesting because you never know what we're going to cover. And I got this from watching a couple of people, and I really like what they've done. So, again, let me see if I can find this. SpaceX is going to be doing a moonwalk or a spacewalk. And again, these are just average people. Well, they have a lot of money to go on this trip, but it's being taken care of by Elon Musk. And I said, what do you think of him? Do you think he's going to be, if Donald Trump wins, in his cabinet or some form of action? And here we go. Don't forget to hit the like and share button. I keep pounding this into you guys. And also, please, don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends. Midnight at the Oasis. I thank you. And last but not least, as I'm promoting everything, here we go. If you have a phone, put it up there to your computer and scan it. Boom. It'll take you right to our site. And we thank you again for leaving comments and everything. And go to our Patreon page where you can have 3 tiers to contribute on however you want. And hit the notification so you'll know whenever I come on live. I thank you for supporting us. It's been a lot of fun. Stay tuned for all shorts, all lives, all long form videos. And you never know, I may be reading some stuff that you do, that you sent me on the air. So in closing, keep your head up, never look down, always believe in yourself, and therein will lie your answer. We don't just keep it simple. We don't just keep it real. We keep it honest. This him. God bless.